of people in here. So if this turns out to be a TikTok specific thing, I'll hop off the other ones. But usually I like to include the other folks as well in the conversation. So hi, YouTube and Facebook. Welcome in. As usual, let me see what I have to say. I'm a certified trauma recovery coach. So I go live to talk about trauma recovery, healing from abusive relationships. As always, you can ask me absolutely anything. I don't only talk about abuse, but that's typically what we get into on my lives. And I'm a survivor of abuse in a queer relationship. So that's where we're at. Hello, Kat. No, seriously, thank you. It gave me the courage to speak out about someone too. I'm so glad. That's why I think it's so important. And to any survivors who choose not to share their stories, whether with a specific person that a lot of us have been talking about or thinking about lately, or not, it's always the choice of the survivor to speak out or not. And neither choice is wrong. If you choose to speak out, good for you. It's very brave. It's very vulnerable. I'm very proud of you. I know it's hard to do. I know you can get a lot of kickback. And you are doing amazing things, hopefully helping other people speak out and helping other people learn about abuse and what it looks like, things like that. And if you choose not to speak out because whatever reason, it's 100% okay to not speak out as well. I don't want anybody feeling like they're not good enough or they're not doing a good enough job if they choose not to speak out, because that is very difficult and our society is not set up to be accepting of this kind of conversation. Good morning, friend. Yeah, I'm very proud of you too. Oh, thank you so much and welcome in. Does it make sense that I can't tell which one of us is the narc or the problem? Yes, that makes sense. A lot of times when you are in an abusive relationship, the abusive person will make you out to be the problem. They'll paint you out to be the bad guy. Every time you bring something up, they'll put it on you. They'll gaslight you into thinking that you are the problem. I 100%, oh, come on, phone. I 100% thought that I was the problem for a very long time and put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and money, time into trying to fix myself so I could fix the relationship. And a lot of times they will make the other person out to actually be abusive as well because they want to be seen as the victim and they want to tell everyone else that they were abused, that they had a hard time, and so on, so that they can pull those people over to their side. All this while you don't even know that this is happening. So, oh no, I lost TikTok. I'm always losing TikTok. So, hi, Facebook and YouTube. Welcome in. I'm just answering questions on my lunch break from work. I know it's evening time, at least where I am. But yeah, this is what I do. I come hang out in my car and I answer questions. So feel free to ask me anything. TikTok is already asking away. Sorry, TikTok, you're back now. So I apologize that I got kicked off. But yes, they will want to make themselves out to be the victim. Friend, hi, welcome in. How are you? Your answer is helpful. Your connection is cutting out badly for me. I don't know about others. Is anyone else having trouble with my connection on TikTok? I know it did cut out for a little bit there, but am I choppy, or are we good now? Cutting out, yeah. Well, that's obnoxious. Is it pretty bad? Is it better now? Hey, I just wanted to give you a shout out and a thank you. You helped me leave last year. Thank you so much. That means so much to me, and I'm really proud of you. Never forget that you're the one who did the hard part. You're the one who did the work. You're the one who got out and stayed out. I'm wondering if I should hop off this live and start again and see if that helps. Sometimes it helps sort of clear things up when I do that. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh, what is? I don't care. I don't want to do that. I'm constantly trying to be a better partner. We're just in a blame game these days. Yeah, so I feel the same way. I felt the same way. Again, I mean, I was buying self-help books. I was in couples therapy, individual therapy. I was spending a lot of time and money in trying to quote unquote fix myself. Whereas, the other person is not. Typically, that's a really good sign. And I want to say typically because obviously with anything, I don't like to use black and white languages. I do use it sometimes, language. But I want to say it's always like this or it's never like that because that can be a problem as well. But a lot of times you can tell which one is being abused because they are, again, spending time, money, energy, doing anything they can to try to fix the relationship because they have been made to feel like they're the problem. They're causing all the problems in the relationship and that they have to do all of this work to make the relationship work. Whereas the other person's just sitting there. The other person's not doing anything. They're not going to therapy, or maybe they are, but only when it's it's a manipulation tactic, and they're doing it only as needed to keep you in the relationship, which is what my abuser did. And so you can pretty much tell, but a lot of times if that's happening, you won't know. You won't know which person is doing what because you'll only have the story of the abuser, or, the victim isn't telling you that they're doing all this stuff. Like, I remember just being like, yeah, I'm trying to work on, I've been really struggling with like, it's like, it's my attachment and blah, blah, blah. Like, there was always like something, but it was always what's wrong with me. So a person on the outside might not necessarily be able to catch that, but that's a huge sign. So if someone is able to tell you that they're doing all of this stuff and spending money and time, and then, you're like, well, is your partner also in therapy? And they're like, oh no, they just like watch TV every night and drink. Big red flag. And that's how I got here. Yep. And then I wanted to talk about the blame game because that's a very common thing. I notice a lot of people, even in, let's say, non-abusive relationships, but maybe not the most healthy in terms of communication and attachment and all that stuff. There's a lot of like tit for tat. I did this, so you have to do that, or you didn't do this, so it's a lot of, and a lot of times what happened is with that, I've had a lot of experiences with this too. It's like, if I come to you, say you're my partner, and I come to you and I say, can you please help me clean the house this weekend? I feel like I'm always cleaning. Well, I cleaned last week. They've got it locked and loaded because people are like constantly trying to keep score so that they can use it as a defense for whatever purpose, right? That's a very common thing. And I do not like blame. I am teaching my son very much that, things happen, and like, you don't know, like, there doesn't always have to be like a person who caused all these problems. It's like, well, everyone's human. Or like, even with childhood trauma, like, who's to blame for my childhood trauma? Is it my mom? Not really, because her mom gave it to her. Is it her fault? Not really. It's a thing that's been handed down. So that's been, I think, a huge part of my healing, is releasing the blame for everything happening. Like, is it my fault that I got into an abusive relationship? No. Is it their fault? Yes. But no, but it's just like, what's the point of all that? Like, it's just so exhausting to constantly be like blaming. She's so busy, I'm giving her grace because she doesn't introspect much. Okay. So if someone is busy in a relationship, it makes sense if one person is busy, or like maybe they're working 2 jobs or like whatever, so they don't have a lot of extra time to do that. But if you're in a relationship, you have to have the ability to be introspective and to be able to, people are in relationships that can't do this. Like, people are in relationships that have absolutely no emotional intelligence and, don't have the skills to be a good partner, and they're still in relationships. But to be in a partnership, you have to be willing to look inward, and I think, look inward to your partner as well and understand their shame. Yes, shame is blame turned inward. Exactly. And understand why they are the way they are, but not like, so if it's an abusive person, it's like, oh, I understand why you're like this, I'm just going to give you a free pass. No, that's not okay. But to understand, if you have a partner who's not abusive, but like why they have struggles and this and that, like, you have to be able to be introspective and see the big picture, and not just be like, oh, I'm too busy to do any work, so I'm not going to, but you go ahead and do all the work. I hope that makes sense. If someone is like super happy to watch you sit back and do all this work and be desperate to change and desperate to heal, and like, I'm assuming you're telling your partner, oh, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. If someone's like happy to watch you scramble to fix yourself, your broken self, but is just kind of sitting back and not touching their own stuff, I don't like it. again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that person's bad, you need to leave. Like, I don't know the situation, but like that, again, I don't like it. Yeah, I feel the short end of the stick. Our emotional intelligence is different. And that's very hard. And that can happen with family as well, where you start to notice your emotional intelligence is going up and theirs isn't. I saw a TikTok the other day that was like something about when you're healing your childhood trauma and your emotional intelligence is getting better. And then that is realizing that you've surpassed your own mother, your own parent in emotional intelligence, but then also having the emotional intelligence to just like love that person where they're at versus being cruel to them and like blaming them and being like, you were horrible to me and blah, blah, blah. It's like being able to have empathy and stuff for like my mom who was neglected as well. It's like, I'm going to love you where you're at. If you are the entertainment in the relationship, it's a circus, not a relationship. Say it louder. Say it louder. That is so good. I love that. That is so true. I hope you have just that quote on a TikTok. And if you do, send it to me and I'm going to share it because it's so good. If you are the entertainment in a relationship, it's a circus, not a relationship. I can tell I'm getting better because of how I am with my kids when he's not there. And that's a huge sign too. That is a huge, hi Kim, welcome in. That's a huge sign that you're healing. And it's amazing. And it's such a huge breakthrough, from how things have been to be able to be calmer, more present, like regulated, be able to help regulate them versus like they're getting agitated, then you're getting agitated and it just goes on and on. I'm good for some good ones. That's awesome. I don't have a lot of like really clever things like that I like catchphrases, I guess. So I just love when people throw them out. I'm like doing Morse code on my drink because I'm stimming. I need something to do with my hands. That's a big deal. Good job. Yes. I don't know if I said good job or not, but yes, very good job. Like I said, it's a huge, like what a relief for both you and your kids that you're seeing changes, because it's freaking hard. It is so hard to be trying to simultaneously heal yourself and stop the cycle of abuse that's been handed down generation after generation, and also do a good job raising your kids. Like for me, it's hard because I constantly feel like I need to work on this, I need to work on that. All this stuff. I'm like, well, I need to be working on this with him. I need to work on that with him. And it can be really, really overwhelming. So yes, the small light bulbs will guide you on the way out. The small light bulbs, very much. You're killing it today with all these little gems. Oh my, I could use a nap. So good. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I did a live earlier, so I'm in Bazinga Brain. I love that. I hope it doesn't cut out again. My phone just told me it wants to die. I love that. I am not in Bazinga Brain, but I want to come hang out anyway. My brain is so special. Who's your favorite current criminal? I don't have one. It's not something that I really think about. Why did there was an email that I was supposed to respond to and it's missing. That is weird. Thanks, Kat. Thank you, Kat. Where did it go? Did I delete it? That is so weird. Trash. Very weird. Spam. So weird. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Probably not mute worthy, but it didn't feel right. Just very random. We're just not sure about it. So we're going to just let that one be. We're going to trust our gut. Wow, we're very quiet today. We are a quiet bunch today. And that's okay. Sometimes we are quiet. I'm okay with that. Oh, I can pin comments. The power. Now you are just rejuvenated and awake and ready to go. Oh, man. I'm so good. What happened to that freaking email? That is so weird. Oh, yeah. Wrong email. That's, my gosh. I'm so special. Sorry, I'm cooking, so I can only check every minute or so. You're fine. It's a slow night, so we're not having a bunch of weirdness in here tonight, so you're good. What are you cooking? I'm having my leftover meatballs tonight. Mexican ground beef casserole with rice. That sounds really good. I have hamburger I need to use. That's fair. I hate cooking. Yeah, it's really hard to not, just because it's like something that we have to do all the freaking time. So it's really hard to not get like super overwhelmed by it and just like over it. I feel like cooking and cleaning and things that never end. Trauma has given me an awful fear at nighttime. The trauma dreams are awful. Yes. Yes, they are. And it's unfortunately not something that we have much control over. So it can be very, very difficult to cope with dreams and trying to get enough sleep when you're having bad dreams and you're waking up in the night or you're waking up exhausted because the dreams are happening. And then also like you don't want to go to bed. I have had very many nights where I'm like, you know what, I'll just stay up. And that's really hard on you. Oh, hi. Shout out from Guyana, South America. CNA currently working on getting RN. Oh, nice. Hi, Marie. Welcome in. I was about to bring that up. I have panic attacks in my sleep. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. What a struggle to be able to take care of yourself and your body, which your body didn't ask for this at all, is working against you. And again, it's like not something that we have much control over. Well, I'm thinking that I will go ahead and hop off just because. Oh, here you go. Is it normal when you have an ex who's made false allegations and you sit on your hands and say nothing? Yeah, that's normal. It's that is what I recommend doing. If someone is, well, false allegations, it depends. Like, are they getting law enforcement involved? Are they suing you? Are they doing that stuff? Because then obviously you have to work through that. But what I recommend is when someone runs a smear campaign that you just completely ignore it. In terms of when you hear it, do not respond, do not defend yourself, do not show a reaction, don't get mad, don't get sad. Like, just really try to be. The example I always give is that someone told me, my abuser told the girl they were trying to date after me, who they dated after me, who told her husband, who told me what my abuser was telling the wife. And all I said was, yeah, I knew they would be telling people that. And I just wrapped up the conversation and I didn't react at all because they do it, don't engage, basically. Absolutely. Because they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it to still have control over you, because if they can get a reaction out of you, they're still getting supply out of you. So basically, everyone reports back. He tells the wife tells my abuser, who's like their new quote unquote partner or whatever. Oh, yeah, well, I told him and he told her and she said this. And she was so mad and she was yelling and she was saying, I never did that. And they're a liar and blah, blah, blah. And then the abuser's like, now I have two forms of supply because I've got you you're lapping this up and you're believing that Lindsay's bad and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I also still have Lindsay because Lindsay's freaking out over what I said. I still have control over her. I still have the ability to upset her. This is working for me. So you just don't say anything at all. I can usually calm down after a trauma dream within an hour. Unless it's bad, then it takes about 2 hours. And sometimes I lock myself in the bathroom to feel safer. That's really hard. That's a lot. And if it's happening at night and you're losing that much sleep, I'm so sorry that you're having to do that. She made false accusations. I'm so tired. False accusations of SA, and I said nothing, and her friends turned against her. Good. Her friends sound like they're smarter than, more understanding of abuse and what abuse looks like than most people. Because a lot of people lap it up. They fall for it. They're, flying monkeys and enablers. Max told me that she was secure in our relationship and left me the next day. Yep. Left me the next day for the person I can guess what you're going to say. Yeah, they do that. I wasn't supposed to be jealous of, and now that I'm interested in someone else, I already know what you're going to say. They're so predictable. Keep saying it, of course. I welcome what you're saying, but it's just like they're so predictable. Yeah, mine also said that they just had a crush and it wasn't going to be anything, and oh, she's married, it's not going to be anything. But it wasn't until I left that they made their move on that person. Yeah, she's jealous. Yeah. And that's what they do. Had it been flipped, had I left and started dating someone else, I probably would have had them bothering me for much longer than they did. But instead, I went radio silent. I didn't date anyone or talk about anyone or anything like that. They had no reason to reach out to me. But they will. I mean, they're very possessive, right? They're very possessive, and they want to have multiple people that they can get supply out of. I've survived on 4 hours max a night for years. That's so tough. I don't really know a lot about like that kind of night terrors, in terms of like what can help. She's been seeing her now for 2 months and they're planning the wedding. Yeah. This is one of those things where like it feels like you're reading out of a textbook and you're reading out of like the like step by step. They'll do this, then they'll do that, then they'll do this. And I'm not like saying that to like minimize or invalidate your feelings surrounding this, but it's just so predictable. So predictable. Two months. Yep. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. It happens so fast. I can sleep fine during the day, but night is hard. But he caused 90% of the arguments at night. Yes, which is also very common. I have a whole podcast episode about, I think I have a whole podcast episode about sleep. I think it's about why can't I sleep? Sometimes I can't remember what I talk about where. And it talks about like why they do that, why they start fights at night, or why they will wake you up on accident at night, or why they will, all of that stuff, and like using sleep deprivation to control you. It's a horrible thing. It is a horrible, horrible tactic. And obviously it has very long lasting effects. And she says that I'm the cause of all the problems in the relationship. Of course you are. She would have such a healthy, amazing relationship 2 months in if it wasn't for you. Everything would be so good. All the problems in her relationship are because it's an abusive relationship. One of their tools. Yep, one of their many, many tools, which is very unfortunate. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to have some quiet time before I go back to work. I'm very tired today. As you can see, I'm just like dragging. But I am glad that I came on here and got to hang out with all of you. And I will probably be back tomorrow. I'll probably be back a lot of nights this week because I'm working for late nights, which means I have a little break. And there's not really much else I can do if I have 1 hour break. So that sounded bad. What I was trying to say is it's the perfect opportunity for me to come live. Nothing else I can do, so I might as well hang out with all of you. So I will check in tomorrow evening around the same time probably. And if I'm live, we'll hang out again. So take care. Hang in there, everyone. Drink some water, and I'll see you soon.